Okay, guys, everyone's been talking about the age of Kevin Levrone's comeback and the fact that Dexter's still going good at 46, 47. Now, there was a guy back in the age who was doing this at a lot older age and for a lot longer, actually, to be quite honest with you. His name was Albert Beckles. I've heard his name pronounced differently, but that's how I've always read it, and that's how it's stuck in my head. Now, this guy was competing for near on 30 years, back from the early 60s. He did well in the early 70s, and then he sort of had a bit of a spell where he wasn't really doing much, and then in the 80s he sort of hit his stride again. Now, I'll note that in the 80s, this guy was in his 50s. Now, when it came, and he was winning competitions. Now, the 1985 Olympia, he came second to Lee Haney. Now, this guy was 55 at the time, and I actually thought he had a really good shape. And, from the back, he had all the detail in the back, I think, but the width, he wasn't going to beat Haney, and I think that's where he fell down. He's a shorter guy, about 5'7", about 220. Still carrying reasonable size, but compared to Haney, who was like a giant of his time, pushing about 5'10", 240, 245, 250. He looked a bit small, but he wasn't embarrassed, and he came in really in good shape. Now, some of these pictures here are a little bit on the scratchy side, so it's more the still shots that you really appreciate the quality of this guy. You can see his legs are pretty well muscled for the day. Good separation through the quads. His upper body was always a bit of a winner for me. His shoulder, bicep, tricep tie-in was just very good. The peak on his bicep is one of the all-time best, really, for me, I think. He had that negative in a way that he has a bit of a gap between his elbow and his bicep, but it really highlights the peak. So he had a really good, tremendous physique, and for a guy in his 50s, what conditioning. And this sort of makes me think, if this is what you can do in your 50s, if you don't have that mindset, oh man, I'm too old to do this, like Levrone, that doesn't have that mindset, that's for sure. He reckons he can win. He could do more than, a lot of people are giving him credit for. Now, look, this, we could say, look, this is a different age. There was no depth back then. There was no competition for Haney, and this guy, he got through because there was no one else to challenge him. Well, given it's not the depth there is today, but look, in that lineup of that Olympia, Rich Gaspari was third, and he was a perennial second placer at the Olympia. I never really liked his physique. I thought it was a bit blocky, and it was just conditioning rather than shape that got him through. Mohammed Makaway, I think he got second, maybe 86, 87. Mike Christian, he's a big unit, really good shape, bit weak in the legs at times. Barry DeMay, Tom Platts, he was a bit down the list. Sergio Oliver, I think his last competition, if it wasn't, it was very close to. Bob Paris, who else is there? Look, there's a few names there, but look, a lot of people probably don't know them. Back then, your top 10 were usually names. Outside of that, you'd be struggling to know them, and I'm looking through those, and there's a few names there I don't remember at all. I'm an old timer, and I'm showing my age by not remembering the magazines coming out with Al Beckles in it, and admiring those bicep peaks, and I remember looking at that 1985, the magazines, and usually 6 months after the event back then. The conditioning of that guy, it sort of blew my mind a little bit, and I actually thought he looked better than Haney in a lot of shots, but again, that back was a killer. Anyway, look, The old boys, Levrone and who is he? Dexter. They're up there, but this guy's older. He almost did it, so who knows what's going to happen. All right, catch you later. Bye.